Hey guys, what's up? My name is Sum Kumar Agrawal and welcome to my YouTube channel, that is the DU Chemistry. So today we are going to start the rotational partition function. In the last lecture we had done with the translational partition function. So in rotational partition function, you will be able to see the Cartesian coordinate of x, y and z axis, and one concept here I am introducing is the moment of inertia. Moment of inertia, moment of inertia. So you know that the mass, so mass is what actually in the normal scenario, in the translation, or say mostly in the translational, all right, all the things that are associated with mass, all those things will be equally associated with the moment of inertia in rotational motion. In a rotational motion, all the things are equally behaved by mass in normal way. In the normal scenario, in translation, the mass what actually playing the role, the same will be the role of the moment of inertia in the rotational motion. Alright, in the rotational motion, okay. So you know that the moment of inertia is actually the obstruction that is offered during the rotational motion. The obstruction that is offered during the rotational motion, the more in detail we will be going to do in the physical spectroscopy. When we will do rotational spectroscopy, then there are huge we will cover it, we will discuss it, but now there is no need of such discussion, such a descriptive discussion. So I am just here taking very shortly all those things. All right, so if for instance there can be three axes. So if A, B, C are the designated, traditionally we call it that IC C has the highest moment of inertia, then B, and then C. Just write it down in notes. In the onwards you will become very confident about all these things. All right, so we know this formula we had done, that the I is equals to summation of mi xi square, where m is equals to mass of the particle and x is the actually the if we are rotating around x-axis, then the x would be that I think that there we will cover it all in the incoming topics. All right, so first thing that I am here talking about is the rigid rotor. Rigid rotor is the ideal concept in the physical spectroscopy, as we know very well that a rigid rotor, we have assumed a molecule to be a rigid rotor, but ideally no rigid rotor can be possible, but we had assumed. So in rigid rotor there can be possibilities of the two types. First one is the linear rotor, the second one is the non-linear rotor. First one is the linear rotor, the second one is a non-linear rotor. So in a linear rotor, what is the condition? The condition is IA equals to 0, and IB equals to IC. And all linear molecules behave this thing. All linear molecule behave this condition, as you can understand in a better way, in a better sense. You had studied that the linear molecule has only 2 rotational degree of freedom. You guys had heard about it or studied in your previous classes, in your previous lectures, that the linear molecule consists of 2 rotational degree of freedom. All right, so why 2? Because there are 3 axes. There can be a 3 axis, though molecule can be rotated in all the axes and we get the corresponding spectra, but we are not getting for the linear molecule because one axis is in the direction of the molecule, so it can't give you the spectra. That's why we assume only 2 of the axis where it can rotate, and we get 2 spectra, and that is why we call it that the a linear molecule has only 2 degree of freedom. So exactly what is happening there, because at there the moment of inertia at one direction becomes 0. The moment of inertia at one direction becomes 0. That is why Ia equals to 0, and the other two directions have their moment of inertia same or say equal. All right. Now non-linear rotor. Non-linear rotor in which you know that a molecule which is non-linear, like H2O, NH3, methane, and numerous examples are there. So for those we know that they can be rotated with respect to all the three axes. It means it can be rotated either with the reference of the x-axis, as well as with the reference of the y-axis, as well as with the reference of the z-axis. Alright, so in all three directions it can be rotated. So in all three directions the moment of inertia would be there. Means what I have written here, all moment of inertia are non-zero. Means in all these directions the moment of inertia has contained some certain values. Alright. Now here I had classified the non-linear rotor in three. In here you can see in the three subclasses or subtypes. First one is the spherical. Second one is the symmetric, and third one is the asymmetric. Alright, so in the spherical non-rigid, we will discuss and study that there are some molecules which are assumed to be spherical and which are non-linear, which are not linear. So they have equal moment of inertia in all three directions, and they are termed as spherical. And most of the geometry of those molecules are like they can be tetrahedral, or they can be octahedral. I am telling you the geometry of the molecule. If that particular molecule is spherical and having the moment of inertia equal of the three direction, then definitely that molecule have the geometry as the tetrahedral or octahedral or the icosahedral. Alright, all the three geometries can be possible of the molecule. Alright, now for the symmetric molecule, we will have one moment of inertia which is non-equal of the first two one. The last one will be non-equal of the first two one. So it can be both, like Ia can be equal to Ib, or Ia cannot be equal to Ib, and the rest of the and also for the Ib and Ic. Alright, so what here it means two are equal and one is different. Two moment of inertia will be equal and one moment of inertia will be different of the rest of the two. Alright, so now the third one we have asymmetric. So in asymmetric, all the three moment of inertia in all the three directions are different. All the moment of inertia in the three directions are different. You have to just write it down in your notes, and we will discuss in a very detailed manner in the physical spectroscopy, when we will start physical spectroscopy. Alright, so linear rotor first we are doing as the first classification, linear and non-linear. So we are going to start linear. This one look, have a look. This linear rotor we are going to start, in which what is the condition is there in Ia, one direction moment of inertia is 0 and the rest two of has some certain values and which are equal. Rest of two directions have some certain values of the moment of inertia, but those value of the moment of inertia will be equal. Alright, and one more thing, all the linear molecules will possess this kind of linear rotor. Alright, so we know we had read some little concepts of the physical spectroscopy, and I am here assuming that you people have done it within your lower so I here assuming that you people have done it in your in your colleges in the final years. So what was the energy of the linear rotor is the B, J plus 1. J are the rotational quantum numbers. If you have this kind of rotational levels, so we designated at J equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, and it goes to infinite. All right. you can see here as well that j equals to 0, 1 to infinite. So this is the energy of the jth level of any of the level. You have to just put the value of the j. You have to just put the value of the j and you will get the corresponding energy. Alright, where b is the rotational constant. B is the rotational constant and has this value h square upon 8 pi square I. I is the moment of inertia. So this v value has in joules. So if you want to convert in centimeter inverse, because most values we got in the exam in centimeter inverse, so you just have to put the in joules equals to hc times sorry E in centimeter inverse, you have to just put E with joules upon H C into 10 to the power 2. This is the conversion. This is the actual conversion how you can just convert the centimeter inverse value of energy joule energy into the centimeter inverse. So you have to just divide with the hc into 10 to the power 2, or just to, if you want to not to take 10 to the power 2, then you have to put the value of the c as in centimeter per second. In centimeter per second means you have to just multiply 10 to the power factor. Either it can be included in the c, or you have to just multiply it in the separate section. So you can approach or go through this way as well, because questions are asked directly in a direct basis. So you have to just know about the conversion method, that how you have to convert it. Alright, so what actually we had started and what we have to actually where we have to terminate. We have to find out the partition function for the rotational system, for the rotation. Alright, so for the linear QR linear will be j equals to 0 to infinite. Any of the levels can be possible. Alright, and this was the expression that we which is the expression for the partition function. We had just substituted I with j. Alright, so j is the rotational quantum number, and it can be its value can be 0 to infinite. Alright, so are you clear with this or not? Okay. So here you can see I had made just rotational energy levels designated at j equals to 0, 1, 2, 3 and infinite, and energy corresponding. One interesting thing you have to look here, that the ground state energy of the rotational state is 0. Ground state energy of the rotation is 0, while in the translation it was not 0. It has value h square upon 8 ml square. It is the value in the translation, but in the rotation you are able to see that its ground state value is 0. Alright, its ground state value is 0. Okay, so this was thing that I want to highlight it. Okay, so now you can find out the energies by using this formula. So you have to just put the j value, and for this you have to put j equals to 1. For this you have to put j equals to 2. For this you have to put the j value as 3. Okay, so you will get that this energy difference is 2b, this energy difference is 4b, and this energy difference is 6b, and so on. So this energy differences are you can see these are in the multiplicative of b, 2b, 4b, 6b. Alright, in this way. So multiplicative of b, or say in the order of b, or we can say in the order of b. Alright, so here I have written energy gap is order of b. Alright, now one more thing. One more thing I am going to introduce here is the characteristic rotational temperature. And is designated or denoted by theta r. All right, so what is this? It is the temperature at which thermal energy equals to B. B, you know, B has the unit in joules. So it is the energy. B is the energy. All right, so one particular amount of energy, that is the thermal energy, if that equals to B, then that energy is known as characteristic rotational temperature. All right, because of the temperature you are getting the energy, no? So that temperature is known as characteristic rotational temperature and designated as theta r. So here look at here, this is the thermal energy, kBT, thermal energy. What it is also the kinetic energy. Which is coming from a heat, or when we give the temperature to the system, this is actually the kinetic energy, which is also the thermal energy. So this thermal energy equals to B. We have in our definition is that the thermal energy which is equals to B. So if you find out the value of T, then Kb goes to denominator and we get T equals to B upon Kb. So this T we are calling theta r. This temperature we are calling or designating as a theta r, which is the characteristic rotational temperature. It is the temperature at which the thermal energy you are giving actually because of the temperature. So that thermal energy will become equals to B, which is the difference of the energies of the rotational level. So actually it is the energy, if you want to get in more depth, so it is actually the energy to which these rotational levels can be accomplished. Means one particle can particle move to higher energy levels actually. So that thing is not very much important, but most important thing is that this expression theta r equals to beta upon kb. So actually it is what? It is the thermal energy equals to B. So thermal energy is kBT, and which is equals to B. So this T now becomes theta r. So theta r will now become equals to B upon kb. Alright, so this is our finalized expression of theta r. Okay, so now, what we had done so far, that B can be represented by in the joule or in the centimeter inverse. So in centimeter inverse we write B in the head of the B we write this sign, so that we can be able to know that it is in the centimeter inverse. All right, so HC. So here one more thing, this C is in the centimeter per second. So here C is in centimeter per inverse, I mean 10 to the power 10 we have to put. All right, so this is okay. Now for a diatomic molecule, if AB is the molecule and R is the distance between the A and B, or say it is the bond distance, that is the R. So I can be given by nu R square. R is the distance between the A and B, and nu is the reduced mass of the molecule. When we have to take the mass of the molecule, or say for a diatomic molecule, so we usually take the reduced mass, which is actually the mass of the both the atom in this manner, that we for the MA into MB and for MA plus MB, because we cannot just add the weight of the A plus B. We have to take the reduced mass. So here we usually take the formula of the reduced mass is given as here it is. All right, now we had done this, that the theta r, which is the characteristic rotational temperature, which is equals to B upon kb. Alright, so we here now only putting or substituting the value of the b as h square upon 8 pi square I and kb retained intact. Okay, so I value we had put just value of I as new r square. Here we had put the value of I, this one I value, new r square, and multiply. All the rest things are the same, rest of the things are same. Okay, so it is the value of the theta r for a diatomic molecule. This is the value of theta r for diatomic molecule. Alright, so have you written it? If yes, then I am going to onwards. Okay, so what is the actually we are looking over the theta r, which is the actually the characteristic rotational temperature. Alright, so what is the its importance? Why what is its importance? We have to understand basically this one. Theta r is the temperature, we know very well. So it can be our temperature, means whatever the temperature we are given in the question, it can be greater than the that characteristic temperature, or it can be lower than the characteristic temperature. For the temperature which can be greater than the characteristic temperatures, that all the rotational levels can be accomplished or can be accessed, because the temperature is greater than the theta r. Temperature is greater than the theta r means all the rotational levels having the any of the energy, the temperature if greater than the theta r, all these levels can be accessed, and we can replace the summation with the integral, because we now are getting in the continuous manner. We can access any of the state. Our access to the state is now possible because of the temperature which is greater than the characteristic rotational temperature, that is the theta r, which is actually the thermal energy, which is equals to B. Means if this is the B, if this energy difference is B, so now we have the temperature which is greater than B, which is greater than, very greater than B. So we can access any of the state. So now summation can be replaced by the integral. And now in the second condition, where we have temperature less than theta r, there if this energy difference is B, so we are getting the energy which is less than B, we are getting the energy which is less than B. So summation cannot be equal to the integral, means all the energy states cannot be accessed, and if cannot be accessed, then we cannot replace the summation by the integral. Is this concept clear to you or not? Are you clear with this or not? I hope you are getting clear with this. If you have any of the doubt, please write in the comment section. Comment section. All right. So first we are taking and discussing the temperature which is less than theta r. Temperature which is less than theta r means summation cannot be replaced by the integral, in which no all the states can be accessed. Where we cannot access all the states. All right. So QR will be. Sorry. Wait. So there was one mistake in my notes. If temperature is less than the theta r, then summation cannot be equals to integral. So I don't know, by mistake I had written the integral, but it is the summation. So j equals to 0 to infinite gj into e की power minus bij. Alright, so we know that the degeneracy of the rotational state is 2j plus 1, and the energy we know bjj plus 1, and or it in centimeter inverse we can write it as this also. Alright. So we just now here expanding it. Expanding it. So it now becomes 1 plus g0 into e की power minus beta 0 plus g1 e की power minus beta 1. so on and so on. Beta into E0, beta into E1 here. Okay, so for E1 E0 we have to put just j equals to 0, j equals to 1, and we get the E1 E0. And on putting all those values, if you are doing it in your notebook, then you are very clear with this, that we have to just put the value of the Gj, degeneracy, and the energy of the 0 state, 1 state plus 2 state, then 3 state corresponding, and then finally you will get the QR as this one. So on arranging, we get QR 1 plus 3 into e to the power minus 2 beta b plus 5 into e raised to the power minus 6 beta b plus 7 e raised to the power minus 12 beta b plus, and so on. Alright, so here QR will become, now if we have to write it in the in form of centimeter inverse, then we have just substituted b with beta bhc. So just write it down. I usually do not remember this one. I usually just remember this one and just converted at the time of need with the b equals to bhc. Alright, in centimeter inverse. I usually read or remember the value of the QR in joules. Alright. Okay. So now what we have, the second condition, when temperature is greater than theta r. Now when we have the temperature which is greater than theta r, means all states can be accessed and summation can be replaced or substituted by integral. So here we had used integral. Alright, so just we write down the same formula and Gj and Ej. So here you can see, we on putting all those values, we got this expression. So now we have to just solve this integral, and we had done the mathematics in 12th as well. So we have to just put the j square plus 2j equals to t, so that we get the value of 2j plus 1 into dj, that is dt. So we have to put this and this as dt, and this j square plus j as t. Alright, so what we got after substituting all those values, and when we put the limits, we get the same limit. If we put the j equals to 0, we get t equals to 0, and if we put j equals to infinite, we get t equals to infinite. It means we are getting the same limits. So we got the same limit, and we reached to this expression, e raised to the power minus beta bt, and when we put the limits, then we got this. And finally we got this expression. We reached at here, that the QR for temperature greater than theta r, means the temperature which is greater than the characteristic rotational temperature. At that temperature, the partition function for the rotational system will become 1 upon b into beta. Alright, just mark it important. Alright, now putting the value of the beta as 1 upon kbt, we get this final expression, and if you put b as bhc, you will get this one. Alright, you will get this one. So we have to just put the value of the beta in the previous expression, and you will reach at here as kbt upon b, or b in joules, or bhc in centimeter inverse. So but one more thing, that this expression is at now incomplete, and we will complete in the next video lecture. We will complete it in a very fantastic manner, and you will also enjoy it, but definitely in the next video. So till the next video, see you, have a good day, bye bye.